Good day, everyone. Trust you're doing well today. Today, we're talking about the NGX transition to T+1 settlement. And I just want to explain the whole thing. Have you noticed that everybody is talking about Nigeria's move to T+1 settlement? Well, some people are calling it a major milestone. Others are saying it changes nothing. Okay. So, honestly, when I saw the headline, I asked myself a simple question. Is this really a big deal, or is it just another technical change that sounds important? Because let's be honest, most investors do not wake up in the morning thinking about settlement cycle. So most people care about one thing. How does this affect my money? Today, I will answer that question. But I also want to show you something that many people are missing. Because after looking deeper into this change, I realized that T+1 is really not about speed. It's actually about something much bigger. And by the end of this video, you will understand why, the bigger winner may not even be the retail investors. So let's get right into it. First, let me simplify what just happened. Before now, if you sold shares on the Nigeria exchange, the transaction was not fully completed immediately. All right. So you could see the sale, you could get alerts, you could receive confirmation, but behind the scenes, the actual movement of money and shares still had to go through a process. Under T2, that process usually took 2 business days. Now, under T+1, right, it takes just 1 business day. Simple. Sell today, sentiment is completed by the next day. Well, to me, that sounds like a small change. 1 day instead of two. But in finance, small changes can have big consequences. Let me explain. Imagine you own a business. You sell a product today. Instead of waiting 2 days to get paid, you get paid the next day. That means you can use that money faster. You can restock faster. You can invest faster. You can grow faster. This same thing happens in the stock market. Money moves back into investors' hand quicker. And when money moves faster, opportunities can be captured faster as well. Now, this is where things get interesting. Most people think the biggest beneficiary will be retail investor. Well, not necessarily. The biggest winners are likely going to be large institutional investors. I'm talking about pension fund, asset managers, insurance company, large investment firm. Now, these are people moving hundreds of millions or even billions of naira. For them, every extra day matters. Imagine a fund manager selling one investment and wanting to move that money into another opportunity. Under the old system, some of that capital will be sitting around, waiting for settlement. Now, that waiting time is shorter. That means capital can now be recycled even faster. And when large pool of money move more efficiently, the entire market benefits, liquidity. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting because if T1 is so good, that's T+1, why are some people still worried? The answer is simple. There is bigger problem that T1 cannot solve, right? And that problem is foreign exchange. This is the part many headlines are not actually talking about. Think about it this way. Imagine you're a foreign investor sitting in London, New York, Singapore, or even Dubai, and you're considering investing in Nigeria. You hear T+1. You hear that settlement is faster. You hear that the market is becoming more modern. Well, that sounds great. But then you ask yourself one question. If I want to take my money out later, how easy will it be? The question matters a lot more than whether settlement takes 1 day or 2 days. And this is why I believe the real game is not T+1. The real game is confidence. Confidence is what attracts capital. Confidence is what keeps investors in a market. Confidence is what makes foreign investors comfortable putting money to work. All right. So you see, regulators have done their part by improving market infrastructure. That is important, very important. But investors do not invest based on only infrastructure. They invest based on trust. Trust that they can enter, trust that they can exit, trust that the rule will remain stable, trust that their capital is safe. And that is why I think many foreign investors will not rush in immediately. They will likely, sit back and watch first. They will try to observe. They will look at the first few months of the T+1 operations. They will check whether settlement failure occurs. They will also monitor the market. They will study the foreign exchange environment. They will also decide whether to increase their exposure. In other words, many foreign investors are currently in wait and see mode. And honestly, that is probably the rational thing to do. Now, let's talk about what I believe is most likely the outcome. Some people expect a dramatic transformation overnight. Myself, I don't. I think the most likely outcome is something much more boring. And usually, boring is how real progress happens. The first few weeks may have some, small operational issues. Some brokers may need to adjust. Some systems may need, fine tuning. Some investors may complain. That is pretty much normal. Almost every major market upgrade goes through a period of, adjustment and transition. But if settlement continues to work smoothly for several months, confidence will, gradually increase. But this does not happen overnight. Like I said, gradually. This is the key word. And if confidence increases, liquidity improves. If liquidity improves, trading activity improves. If trading activity improves, the market becomes healthier. This is how market development usually happens, not through one big event, but through many small improvements, stacking on top of each other. Now, here is the most important thing I want investors to understand. T plus one by itself will not create a bull market. It will not, magically make stocks go up. It will not suddenly flood the market with foreign money. All right. So anybody telling you that is oversimplifying the story. Stock prices still depend on company earnings, economic growth, interest rates, investors, sentiment, government policy, and many other factors. T plus one is not a magic solution. It is infrastructure. Think of it like building a bigger highway. A bigger highway allows more cars to move efficiently, but building the highway does not automatically create traffic. People still need a reason to use the road, right? So the same thing applies to the stock market. T plus one makes the market better, but other factors will determine how much capital eventually comes in. So what should investors actually watch over the next few months? I think these are the four things. First, watch settlement performance. Are trades settling smoothly? Second, watch foreign investors activity. Are foreign funds increasing their participation? Third, watch foreign exchange conditions. This remain one of the biggest variables. And fourth, watch what regulators do next, because T plus one is probably not the final step. It looks more like part of a larger modernization plan. Now, let me give you my final, view. I believe this move is positive, right? So I think it is necessary upgrade. I think it makes the Nigeria market stronger. I think it makes the market more efficient, and I think it sends good signal to both local and international investors. But I also think many people are focusing on the wrong thing. The real story is not that settlement moved from 2 days to 1 day. The real story is that Nigeria is trying to build a capital market that investors can trust. Because in the end, trust attracts capital, trust creates liquidity, trust creates opportunity, and trust is what every successful financial market is built on. So while T plus one may look like a small technical change on the surface, it is actually part of a much bigger, picture. The next few months will tell us whether this is simply a faster settlement system or the beginning of a stronger and more competitive Nigeria capital market. And that's the part I'll be watching very, very closely. Let me know what your thought is about this. Do you think T plus one will make a real difference, or do you believe foreign exchange remains the bigger issue that investors should focus on? I would love to hear your perspective. And if you gain value from this video, please like and subscribe so you do not miss my next video. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.